They give you one baby, and that one baby weighs between 4.5 kg and 5 freaking kg. If they give you two, then you are getting around 3.5. But that one, especially when you start your farm and they give you one, don't be disheartened. That one can easily become a stud goat. And a stud goat can sell as high as $90,000 at an auction in South Africa. One breed went for $1 million recently. We have the article, and we actually visited that farmer in South Africa. They won't sell their stud goats. So maybe you should ask for $1 million. It's a whole
Welcome to Kwamina TV again. Today too, I'm here at Sementia Farms. Guys, if you come across this video for the first time, kindly hit the subscribe button. And if you are my lovely return subscriber, to leave comments on this particular video. This is a video that we done before. We did it in Brekum when they told them to move their goats out of our land. Why are you moving from here? And this is your hometown as well.
Yes,
so
yes.
Why? Is it a rumor or is something?
It is true. Yeah, we actually moving in with a very short notice. In a week time, this farm will be closed down, unfortunately, after 5 years of, a lot of investment. And education.
What are you going to do with the rest of the goats? Because there's a lot of goats here as well. What are you going to do with them?
This is small. We are selling all of them. I think we recently, a few weeks ago, we were summoned by the chiefs of the community that goats are not allowed here anymore. So we should take our goats.
They were allowed because of superstitions about goats are not allowed in Brekum land. They moved to eastern region, Suhum area, and guys, I think, sometimes every misfortune is a blessing. We are back to Sementia Farms again. So I'm going to meet Mr. Fred. And he will explain much about how he moved, how he's doing here. Also, all my subscribers and all those guys who left comments at this particular video and those who are asking me questions today, Fred is going to answer all the questions. So come with me and let's go and meet Mr. Fred. We are there. We are there. Come with us. So guys, as I said, I'm going to Sementia Farm and I told you come with me. I'm here at Sementia Farm in the eastern region, the first one in the eastern region, and Mr. Fred is here with me and he's going to explain all the questions that you've been asking me on the comment section. And the one you've been calling me, the main guy is here. He will answer your questions. And also keep watching Kwamina TV. Guys, leave comments and let's see what happened in Bono region and the eastern region. Nice to meet you again, bro.
Nice to meet you too.
And I'm always happy to see you.
Great.
So today I don't want to waste your time, and
sure.
I'm going to go in straight.
Sure.
A lot of people are asking me about the video I shot the last time. Where is Fred?
Yeah.
Where is Sementia Farm?
Yeah.
Where is farming in Africa?
Yeah.
Then I say, give me time. I will look for where he is.
Yeah.
Today I'm here with you. I want you to first of all tell them your location first.
Okay. So we are currently at Eastern Region in Suhum, in a small town called Abisimdawa, which is about maybe 15 minutes drive once you get to Suhum on the Kumasi Road. So that's where we are currently at.
Man, I have seen what is here. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I know the other side, but I see here as modern way of farming with a space.
Yeah.
Can you tell people who are beginners, who want to go into farming, what they should start for? Because, people are asking me, if I have 2 goats, let me say, educate us about this within this 20 minutes. Educate us about people from the beginning.
From the beginning. I think, yeah, just like anything, takes time to build. So you can look at somebody's, 5 years, 6 years of, effort and say, I want to be there just today. If you can, great. You can leap a lot of things and be there. But if you can't, that shouldn't be a discourage. I think, you got to start from where your budget and your resource, can start you from. I always tell people when I was starting, I started with 2 goats. In my house, just right next to, it was actually a container house just like this, so right next to it, and that's where I started mine from. And to me, it was to learn, was to, just understand what I'm getting myself into before I even went ahead to buy more goats and started preparing my land. So I guess if you're new and you're watching us, it doesn't matter, the capital you have, or even if you don't have land. I always use this when I talk to students. I say, go to your neighborhood. You will find a plot of land that the person is spending money every 2-3 months to clear it.
Yeah.
That's a land for you to utilize it. There's so many uncompleted buildings around Africa. Like, go get one, start your good from that uncompleted building, and gradually, once you start making money, you can buy your own land. But if you do have a land, then, I think the first thing you want to do to our standard is to, first of all, do your perimeter fence. That means that making sure that the entire land is fenced. And once it's fenced, then you can start growing your food. Then the other things comes in terms of dividing your pasture, building your pen, and so on and so forth. But, sometimes when it comes to agriculture, we don't really look at it like business. So most people feel like, I just want to go do it. But if you want to go into business, you need to plan, you need to save, you need to budget, right? And that's why, to me, I open up this place to anybody who wants to learn, whether you're a stranger or not, from Ghana or not. Like, it's a place for us to come see what is possible and say, this is where I want to get to. But I'm not there yet. I don't have the resources. How do I get there? How much do I need? Who are the expertise that I need? What are the resources, the training that I need to get there? So just like any business, before you venture, you need to plan. And planning your budget, which is money, is important. Planning the people you're going to work with is important. You yourself, the knowledge for you to understand what you're getting into, and then, the market as well. What market are you meeting? So there's a whole lot for you to get into. But first of all, I think, decide if this is what you want to, and if you're not sure, come over here, come spend a couple of days with us, see if this is what you want to do. Yesterday I was here with a group of people who have come to learn from us, and I said, for this first week is for you to see even if you like the smell of goats. If you're willing to put in the work, what it's going to take for you to get these goats from the day it's born to 9 months or 10 months that you sell. There's a lot of effort that goes into it. So you need to know and understand that. Okay. Maybe you might come and think, oh, this place is beautiful, it's great, but you don't like the early morning wake up. You don't like the morning daily routine that we do here. So the nitty-gritties is important for people to understand that, hey, this is something I want to do before you even put your money into it. Exactly. So I can go on and on and on, but I'll pause and let you.
Yeah. Before you even put your money in it. And I mean, Mr. Fred, there's a lot of people calling me from different places. Some are from the States, some are from all over Africa. Can anyone come? That is also one key I have to know. Can anyone come to this place to, study here about this farming?
I think we are open. The first person who actually came to stay here for 3 months was from Liberia.
Oh, wow.
The first person to come stay here with us was from Liberia. I don't think we discriminate. We are all one people. I think we can't say we are just for Ghanaians or anybody. Obviously, we are opening up our home, our investment to strangers, and therefore there are policies, rules, and things we need to follow to make sure that we also don't attract the wrong people into our home. So that we would definitely do. And yesterday I told them, you know, most of you are here, but if you don't comply, you go home. I will sack you the same day. I don't care, you know. I have to protect what we have for other people with right intentions to come. And, you know, so anybody's welcome. Just get in touch with us. We're trying to also minimize the capacity so that those that are here can actually get to experience it. You know, instead of just having 20 people here and they don't have things to do or they are not really learning, you know. And I need to make sure I'm also available to be able to meet them in the evenings and take them through some of the practical things they are doing and so on. So yes, everybody's welcome, but we just have to manage our time and the capacity of people we can host here at a time. Yeah.
So that means people have to book and
Exactly.
see the time wise and how they will come and also.
Exactly.
Okay. The next question is in terms of the goat. In terms of the goat.
Yeah.
I can see that the goats are huge.
Yeah.
Not only local ones like from the West African ones.
Yeah.
And when they get it, let me say I came to get a goat about 1,000 cedi,
$1,000. Yeah.
Yeah. How much is it? And I take it over there. Did I have any warranty about you, helping me out to bring it up in a few days or something like that? Do you have?
So it depends on the person, but mostly those that have gotten goats from us or have gotten into this new venture, you know, it's not cheap. Farming is not cheap, so you want to protect that. And in order to protect that, you need to have the expertise, the knowledge to be able to keep them alive. We go by 5 pillars here. You know, number one is the breed and genetics. So getting the right breed to serve the purpose of your market is very important, whether it's milk or meat. Inside that, getting the right genetic that is beautiful enough for you as well is key. So once you get that from us, you're not done. You know, there is the nutrition part. How do you feed them to get the best potential out of them? Because you can buy a goat from here. You know, I have a goat that's over 100 kg, right?
Wow.
And that goat, if you take it to your farm and you don't feed that goat well, that goat is going to start reducing. So before you realize it's 50 kg, it's 40 kg, and will eventually die, right? Then there is also the health component. You know, goats have viruses that attack them. They have, you know, bacteria that they deal with. They have parasites that they deal with. So knowing how to identify which parasites you're treating, what bacteria you're fighting, what are the vaccination programs. So that is also important. And then basic management, your day-to-day routines of things you need to do at your farm to avoid certain injuries, incidents, and so on and so forth. So yes, we do help people that buy from us or even buy from wherever they bring their goat. We have a program where we put them on. And in our system, what we use to manage our goats, we put them in as well. So I don't know if you saw, there was a gentleman here. He came to take one of our guys to Kumasi. So,
yeah, I saw the guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's going to be in Kumasi for, I think, 3 days. Because every 2 months we visit that farm. And we go, we weigh them, we do all the medication, we do whatever is not going well, we coach and so on. Those that are closer by us, sometimes we just go every 2 weeks or something like that. So it depends on the program that the farmer have with us, you know. But I think the first most important thing is we can be everywhere and we can be there 24/7. So you, the farmer or your farm manager, needs to be here, and we can give that person as much as possible, you know, so that once the person knows, he can be independent, and we will just come in, you know, once in a while.
So that if I understand it, that means people can come and train their people here, like say their workers. Mostly, I'm asking this question for the diasporas.
Yeah.
Because most, you know, they are absentees. They are not here, and most of the time they have people that, you know, how they farm here. So they can come and spend days?
Yeah, we do 3 months. We do 1 month.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah.
And it's affordable?
Yeah. I think so. Don't have the numbers, but it depends on the accommodation you're using and all of that.
You give them accommodation here as well?
So we
Or they
actually
stay in
building, but we have houses in the community
Okay.
that we've arranged with them, so then they will be able to stay there. Some also do stay in a hotel, depending on who is coming. Exactly. But for the training itself, no. I think it's practical. We want people to come and learn, because I can sit on the internet and teach as much as I can, but the fastest way to learn is by doing it. Yeah.
That is true.
So.
Okay. So guys, as I said, I'm coming to ask so many questions, but you know, our time, so I won't ask my question, but the little that I want you to know that if you want to go into goat farming, I think Sementia Farms, as I'm talking to you now in West Africa or in Africa, is the best place to be. As our Liberian brothers and other brothers from Nigeria and all those coming, those who are commenting and asking for some questions, Fred is here, and also I will leave their contact on the description. So if you need them or you call Kwamina TV, you know, it's sure you're going to get direct to them, and especially Nadia. You're going to straight to her, and she will give you any assistance that you want. Fred, the first time I met you, it wasn't a good, I mean, atmosphere.
Yeah, can call it so.
You can call it so. In Brekum, get your goat out of our land. You got a goat out of the land. You saw most of them. And you came to this place. Tell us. I have seen it, but I think the people also want to know, as they said, where are you? And you say you are here. Tell us how the experience from that side and here. Tell us a bit more in just a few.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those you know, things that happens. It obviously wasn't a very sweet moment. We started the year very rough, but we came out stronger, and I'm looking more towards the future. I think when it happens, the best way we could do is, you know, how do we move on from here? Because it was definitely not going to kill the dream. So the question was, how do we move on from here, and what do we need? And I think, you know, we made the step. This place had already been purchased for future projects. It wasn't going to be a model farm. It was going to be a fulfillment center, so that someday we can bring all the goats here before we get them out of the country and so on. But you know, we came here, and with the support of, you know, everybody that, you know, supported us emotionally with your comments, everything, we started work. And I think in 6 months' time, we're able to build this, what we've built, and started operating. You know, it's a lesson to all of us to, you know, to try and do both to the chiefs and our traditional leaders, and also to us businessmen and investors, you know, to be able to coexist and honor our traditions, and also be able to welcome progress, because that is, you know, it goes hand in hand. You know, we cannot just depend on our traditions, otherwise
which we stay in where we are for 100 years.
Exactly. So at some point we need to compromise to be able to progress to the next stage. But it's been a journey, but I'm excited. I'm always looking forward to the next step. So whatever is behind me, I leave it behind, and I move on.
I'm glad to hear that, guys. So one of the questions is also answered, because you asked me to find where he is, and he is here. And we are going back to the goats.
Sure.
Here, are you using this place as research center? Like, you research it, I mean, breed it and do so. Can you tell the people what exactly, or just farming like the other side that you farm?
I think when the incident happened, I actually told people that I'm going to focus more on training and sharing my knowledge. Obviously, that is something that I love doing from day one. Is we need to have access to the information. Otherwise, we will all be the sheep. We will all go and fall, you know, and nobody's really, because the one that figures out also doesn't want to share. So I was all about information sharing, so that Africans around the world, we can, you know, have the data. If you're sitting in the US, UK, and you want to do something, like you can be in the US and still know what is happening, have the data you need to be able to make an informed decision before you even make the step. So that's what I wanted to do, to focus on training. And that was part of designing this place. And then the training also comes with the experience. You know, I don't want to just go read a book and say this is it, but I want to be able to practice whatever that I'm learning, and then the outcome be able to share it, right? So in a way become a research center, where we are testing, experimenting with different things. You talked, am I going to be a big farmer? The point is, I'm still figuring out a lot of things, because this place, now we are farming just on about 2 acres. It is not much. And we haven't been here for a year, so I haven't gone through the entire climatic weather condition here.
Okay.
So I need to go through a year or two to understand, you know, the rain pattern, you know, the dry season, the duration. After that, then I need to decide how many animals can I actually keep here, right? And that will tell me whether I just do for breeding or I do like a proper commercial farm or not. There's still a lot that I need to figure out, but at the moment, you know, we're still bringing goats from outside the country, and we know that everything that we import comes back to hurt our economy. So the better we produce here, the better for us, you know, so that we can keep the currency here. You know, the money goes into our own farmers. Imagine somebody selling a goat in Ghana for $1,000.
Hi.
That's a good business.
That's a very good business.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't happen because we buy the goats and there's an outside there.
Yeah.
How much? $100?
Yeah,
it's
like
$100 because it's about
$200.
1,500 cities or something like that. So it's $100. So
yeah.
and
But
if you can able to sell it,
exactly.
I think it's good for mostly West Africa,
Yeah.
not only in Ghana, because we all have those small in the whole West Africa. I think it's good for.
And we also have good climate. We have everywhere is green. You know, you go South Africa and go, they don't even have rain, and they're able to do this. So we have a lot of upper hand, and I think if we, you know, I know it's difficult for us to start, but you know, a few people that have started, I see in 10 years time, you know, it will be something that people can access because the cost will come down and so on and so forth. Yeah.
It was something that I want to ask you about. If you go into goat business or goat farming, how long will you start? Let me say I invest now. How long would I start? I mean, getting. Can you give me a rough
Some numbers?
Some numbers.
Sure. So so in animal farming, there are two investments. So the first investment is your capital investment, which goes into purchasing the land, building your infrastructure, if you need electricity, if you need water, whatever it is. But know that those things don't give your money back to you, right? You invest into those things. They are assets for you. And in any business, those assets, you're going to recoup it over time.
Yeah.
It's not next year, it's not next 2 years. So you need to say, okay, maybe I invested $40,000 into this. I'm going to spread that over 10 years, right? So that's one. Then two is the livestock itself, which is your cash flow. So if you invest into one female, right, whether I come pregnant, we saw our goats pregnant because I think the farmers love it. Every day I get pictures and say, oh, my goat came yesterday and he gave birth the next week, you know. Yeah. So we saw our goats pregnant. And then we also have the best males. It's expensive to buy a quality male. So it's better we use our genetic on your goat so that the kids will have better genetic and you can start your farm with it. So you buy the goat, you buy one goat, let's say $1,000. Goats on an average will give birth to 2. Some will do 3. I have a goat here that gave birth to 4.
Wow.
So it depends, but on an average it's 2. So a goat's pregnancy rate is about 5 months. So if you buy a goat now and it's crossed now, in the next 5 months, that goat is going to give birth to 2. So now the value of your farm in terms of stock is around $3,000. You invested $1,000.
Yes.
Then that baby goat in 9 months, if it's this foreign goats, then in 9 months you're looking at about 45 to 50 kg. So in 9 months we can sell your goats off.
Okay.
right? So then that's 9 months plus 5 months of pregnancy is when you can start seeing money.
Okay.
So that's if you start with 1, then you can sell 2.
2.
Right?
Yeah.
Or depending on how many you want to sell.
Want
so you look at the multiplication factor, then you say, okay, this is a good business, right? Then you look at your demand as well if you have market for it, right? Because every business, it doesn't matter.
Depending on where you are as well, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
People outside there, can they come in here, get their own grass, if they start their farming, or even if they have their farm, can they come and get their own glass here and go and plant it on their own?
Yeah.
Grass,
I mean, we have the seeds at the shop. We have a shop in Achimota, one in Kumasi and one in Tamale, and then we have also in Nigeria and Abuja as well. Hopefully soon we'll be somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe we also in Uganda, so you can get it in Uganda. So if you want to start, we always advocate for you to start planting your feed first. Exactly. So get your seed planted. Once you have food, like, there's no limit. I wish I had feed. If I had feed, I would have 500 goats right now.
The person has already goats. He has already goats.
Yeah.
So he have now seen you on YouTube.
Yes,
How long does it take for this cementia glass to?
Yeah. So once you plant it, it's gonna take about 8 weeks. In about 8 weeks' time, you should be at your first harvest. It's 2 things: either you're harvesting and storing it as hay, or you're letting them graze directly at it. So in about 8 weeks, it should be ready for you to feed your animals with it.
The dry season and the rainy season. Can you plant it any time in this, or it's difficult for it to grow on dry season?
No, just like any seed or even human beings, we need water to grow, right? So in the dry season, it doesn't get water. So if you have like source of water to water it, then it will grow for you. If you don't, you put it in the soil, it's going to stay in the soil. Without water, it's not going to germinate. It will germinate if you water it. In the dry season, if it's already planted, it's still going to grow, but not as fast as in the rainy season, right? So in the rainy season, the more rain it gets, the faster it's going to grow. The good thing about this is it doesn't dry. So even without water, it's not going to turn brown. It's still
It's still green.
Exactly. So in the dry season, you come here and you see all the grass around us very green, very brown, but then the cementia grass is always green, and that's why I actually chose that.
How many African countries have you been visit?
Me?
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah.
Give me numbers. Roughly.
Africa, I don't know, I can tell you the world, but I haven't really counted African country, but I think I've been to about 60 countries over the world.
All over the world.
Yes,
okay.
yes. But
the reason I'm asking you this is a lot of people also contact me for my first video from different, some places, is it Swaziland? Somewhere in
South Africa.
Way down there. Yeah,
in
people
Lesotho,
contact me. From that side. So that is why I'm asking you, where have you been in the whole Africa? I know that you've been in Europe and America as well, but will you, in any circumstance, leave Africa and go back to Europe or go back to America and stay?
And stay?
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Will you in any circumstance? Because you know what? The reason why I'm asking is when that one happened in Bekum early this year, people are asking, I mean, this guy is going to leave and go back. That's what happened to most of the people, most of the diaspora, as you know. They will just give up and go. And then let me just leave Africa and just go and see because they don't want development. That is why I'm asking you. Will it be any?
No, unless I'm not safe. That's the only reason. But I think there's,
But for being in farming, you always be safe.
Yeah, personally, I've never, even like. Everything I've done is in Africa, man. Since I started businesses, all my businesses have been here. I think there is so much to be done. There's so much we need to build. There's so much technology and innovation that needs to happen in Africa. And I think we need to be the ones to do it, not depend on other people. And therefore, it doesn't mean that you're not going to face challenges, but those challenges are what also presents the opportunities, right? If I want to do this in the US, I can't do this in 6 months in the US. Even the paperwork and the bureaucracy and so on, it's not even possible. But here you can, you know, you have your money, you just buy a land,
And
you
start
start,
doing
you
whatever
know,
you need
and
to
then
do,
people will support you because it's a good thing. So, no, there's no way I will unless, I don't know. I don't know why.
Unless, what advice will you give it to the diasporas and also our youth that some are in school, some are coming out from school? What advice will you give it to them about agriculture?
I think for the people in the diaspora, I've said so many things because I've been in a lot of conferences and meetings where I've given various advices to the people in diaspora. And I think home is always going to be home. Plan. You're always going to come back. Even if you're dead, we'll bring you back. So why don't you start now to plan, right? A lot of the mistake, and I have had mentorship with a lot of people there that will come, you know, thinking they just move and they've made a decision to come and do it. One thing I did when I went to the US or even in London initially is to start everything I wanted to do, to start it whilst I was there. It's not easy. It's never going to go as planned. The people that are going to do it don't have the vision you have. So there's going to be a lot of challenges. But when you're ready to come back, it takes you to the next step. It's like you're not coming to start from scratch. So if you want to go into agriculture, whilst you're there, if you have the opportunity to come once, purchase the land, right? Give it to somebody to farm on it. Gradually start something, right? So that when you come, you're not starting from scratch. At least you have something on it to be able to build upon that. Agriculture is going to take a next level in Africa. And I think people that are going to invest into agriculture are going to be, you know, people like using the word millionaires. I don't like, because money, or be rich, money is relative, depends on your level of income and so on.
That's it.
But I think it's going to be a very lucrative business in the next coming years. My advice also is that not everybody need to be tilling the soil. Some people, if you're an accountant, you can come. There are already millions of farmers who needs an innovation just in managing their books and finances. Come with that knowledge and contribute in the agriculture. If you work in a factory and you know how to process something, bring that knowledge. I feel like when we think about coming into agriculture, we think we need a land and we need to come and plant, or we need to buy animals. There are so many things, and Ghana is ready for that. You can see a lot of talks around value chain and value addition. Come bring that technology, bring that innovation, and add to it. There are already too many farmers in Ghana that needs innovation, ideas, new way, knowledge. If you have knowledge, come start a YouTube, come start a podcast. Farmers will learn from you and will contribute to that. But if you love being hands-on like me, then buy a land and let's start. You know, there's always mouth to feed, so why not? For the youth in Ghana, I think my message is for them, you know, in agriculture, the future belongs to them, right? And I think that we can't continue doing the same thing over and over and expect different results, right? We have to find a better way of doing it. And therefore, if you're youth and you want to go into agriculture and you're finishing school or you just finished, just seek the knowledge in whatever you want to go into, whether it's crop, whether it's livestock, whether it's tomatoes, whether it's pepper. Like, ask yourself, what am I going to come do different from what my parents and fathers and mothers have been doing in the past? The reason why they send you to school is so that you can be better than them. Otherwise, they would have kept you home and asked you to join them at the farm. So what can you add to whatever that you're going into to take it to the next level, right? The climate is changing. Things are not like it used to be before. My mom could look at the weather and say, oh, it's going to rain tomorrow or today. Now it doesn't work anymore, right? You have to use technology. You have to, you know, have variety of seeds. You can't just take any seed and plant. So there's a lot of research, a lot of things that's going to go into it. So use the knowledge that you've acquired in school to seek more that can be implemented in the field of agriculture that you want to go into. And be different, start something that you can, not just for yourself, but you can make an impact in multiple lives. And I think that, you will succeed. It's not going to be easy, but I think the future belongs to the youth. And therefore, whatever you set your eyes and mind to in Africa, it's just a matter of time and you break through.
I didn't ask you about challenges that you have in here with the animals that die early or something like that. Do you, in just 2 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, if you do get your medications and stuff right, no, they won't. The infrastructure, you saw the treatment pen,
Fantastic,
right?
yeah.
So being able to have the proper infrastructure to keep them, and that will save them from dying. Having the right vaccination the moment they are born, all those things you do, you can keep them. Yeah, they won't die.
If you have opportunity to become the Greek minister, or if you work in UN and they put you in a Greek center, what will you see change? That is my last question.
What would I see? What would I want to do? What is the change? I say this a lot, so I'm going to repeat that.
I want you to repeat.
Two things. Number one, I think we need to be deliberate and not just talk agriculture, but make an effort towards agriculture. So the same way we understand health being important, you understand education, school being important, so we can nourish our brain, we need to nourish our body as well. The same way we want us agriculture to be. So you go to a community and there is land dedicated for hospital, land dedicated for schools. I will want every community to have land dedicated for agriculture, so that if somebody, whether an investor, whether a youth, whether a family, somebody wants to farm and they don't have money, they should be able to access land, because then they can do what they want to do, right? And I think the next important thing is, in Africa, we lose a lot of food, and so many factors, but I think proper infrastructure to connect farmers direct to market, because farmers are not poor because there's no price for their feed, but it's because there's a lot of middlemen
Yeah.
in there. So you will go to the remote village and buy tomatoes for very cheap, and then somebody carries it, then the market women, the market queens and all of that. So then the farmer gets like very small and goes back to the bush, and this guy becomes rich here. So I think having a very good transportation system, like from the north to the south, just a train could carry somebody's tomatoes and bring it here, and the person can sell it in Accra or Kumasi, wherever his market is, and go back. So I think that will really help farmers and also make sure that there is market for them. So those are the two things I would do on top of my head.
So guys, we've already spoken with Fred, so we are going to go for the tour and see who is going to take us. Madam Nadia.
Hi guys, how's the coming? It's good to see you.
Good to see you
You're
too.
welcome to Sementia Learning and Development
I love
Farm.
seeing you always.
I
it's so
get
beautiful.
excited to see you too.
that.
Thank you.
I was like, guys, let's go.
Let's go before this man starts flattering
I will
me
start
so
flattering
much.
you. You know what I mean?
Welcome officially once again to the Sementia Learning and Development Farm. If your business doesn't go beyond this place, which is called the Fulfillment Center, as you can see, the back of the operations rather is facing us. It's all very intentional. So Leon, one thing I want you to really notice is the intentionality of even the layouts. Eventually helps to avoid transfer of diseases and all of that. So there are some people who just come here because this pen has a multi-purpose role. We call it the Fulfillment Center. Very recently, we started a project where we source local breeds of goats from around us, the communities, the villages, and then we keep them here. We started this not long ago because we were getting a lot of complaints from the average Ghanaian farmer about how, first of all, most can't exactly start their breeding stock or farm with the expensive exotic goods. Obviously, the price would be different. And number two, when they go to the market to purchase these animals for their breeding farm, it's a gamble, Leon, because we were up north at one of the biggest livestock markets, and the animals are on display. You are just looking at them and picking. Great. It's a huge gamble. So we decided, okay, let's avoid this whole gamble thing, source them, let people already know us as a breeding center. Now, we got a lot of profound discoveries when we started this project, because you bring the animals here. Number one, they are not being really well fed in the communities where they are, because there is no intentionality behind that livestock farming. So most of them come here very, very diseased, lack of weight. And one of the biggest issues we have faced so far is plastic. You know, they are doing extensive system of farming. They are sent out to fend for themselves. And at a point in time, their body asks them, oh, I want salt, I want iodine. They sniff the plastics that once contained food on the streets, and they feel like that is what their body is asking for. Plastic is not degradable. They end up eating it, and we all know what happens. We had a mother who was carrying 3 babies, a West African dwarf. Pregnancy was going smoothly. A month before delivery, she dropped dead. And over here, I told it's a research and learning farm, so we do autopsy on the animals and all of that. We opened it up and there was a huge ball of plastic like that. Huge. And that is the current situation on the ground in our villages for our local animals. Here at the farm, the goal is to improve on the genetics we have in the West African region. Basically, whichever means we will use to improve on the local genetics we have, we will do that. And so as we move on, you will see some of the projects we are embarking on to do that. Typically in a pen, so I've talked about the fulfillment center part, which caters to the local breeds. The other part is almost like a quarantine center. When we bring new stock from South Africa, it's not advisable to add your new flock to your existing flock. You keep them for a while, you observe them, you monitor them. If there is any treatment to be done, you do that. And so this pen within this pen is like the sick bay. So we keep them here. They are grazing. Those are the Kalahari Reds. And as you can see, we have one of our farm managers with them. We are just testing all sorts of methods, because we preach about variety of feed a lot here. And so if this vegetation is just there not being used, we have no problem with the land, then why can't the animals go there and feed? So that's what's happening there. We have some Dorper sheep. That's one of the greatest news we brought to the farm recently. And just last week it delivered for us. So we are really looking at how it would adapt to the environment and all of that. The mother itself, we don't have a problem with, but it's the babies we really want to monitor and see how well they adapt. So this is the quarantine, the sick bay within this quarantine spot. At our pen, as we go in there later, you would always see hay. This is a universal feed. We were in South Africa in July. It was literally winter there, no green around. Every single farm Fred and I visited had hay there. And this hay has a lot of benefits. The obvious one is the rough fiber. It gives the animals, it helps with their roaming a lot. And since animals can't say we are thirsty, the only way you can solve the dehydration problem on your farm as a livestock farmer is to give them something that will trigger their desire to drink water. And this is it. You give them this. This is, everything here is also locally made, I must say. Look how well this and everything. We put the livestock feed here. As you can see, the pen is raised, and maybe come on in and see how a typical pen looks like inside. But before that, you would notice right by each pen, we have what we call the exercise yard. For a new farmer, we tell people the biggest headache is not even the size of your pen, because these goats, as you can see, daytime, nobody is here. At night, they are very social animals, and they would huddle together, and it gets pretty cold here at night. They would huddle together so much, half of this space only would be taken, and the other half would just be there. So this space you are looking at can take maximum 150 goats at a go. Yes. So space and the pens that people really struggle with, that is a secret. It's not a big problem. What you should be concerned about is easy accessibility to feed and their exercise yard. Because the daytime, trust me, they are not going to be in here unless it starts to rain heavily. And I heard in Liberia, it pours a lot. So then you would have to have some consideration for even the way you build your pen so the rain doesn't come in here. Everything here has been built with even the weather elements in mind. We know which direction the rain would come, even if it gets heaviest, and we know it wouldn't enter the pen because of the way we've built it. So those are some architectural questions. If you have in mind when you meet Fred, you can ask him. That is the sementia grass we talk about a lot here. We do rotational feeding. So it's a raised pen, and usually people ask, why do we prefer raised pens? We prefer raised pens, once again, for you, Leon, in Liberia, when the rains come a lot, you don't want the animals getting into contact with the ground. Goats hate anything wet. And number two, they love to climb. We are doing raised pens because we are improvising that natural thing for them. In South Africa, they are in the wilderness, mountains everywhere, they are climbing. We don't have that luxury here. So we provide something at least to simulate it, then they can be frolicking all over the place. If I'm talking too much too, please let me know. But I really want you to understand everything we are doing here so that you would appreciate it as well.
You are not talking too much. You are doing the right thing.
When I get important guests, I love to be as detailed as possible. So here we have our own source of electricity. We don't depend on Ghana water. So we have drilled our own borehole and we have, connected the entire system. I rarely bring people into the structure, but for your sake, I'll bring you in so you see something for yourself. All right. I was looking for the name there. Feed processing center. This basically is our feed solution center, as I prefer to call it. Now, everything here is not for sale. We have our own animals and our own farm to maintain, so we have to be a bit selfish. The Sementia grass I showed you, this is it. It's very versatile. So, Leon, we have some farmers in Ghana who we call absentee farmers. You saw some white car when we were coming past. That one is an absentee farmer. He has huge lands somewhere in the Ashanti region. Now, he says he doesn't trust people to manage his animals. So what he is doing at the moment, I was there 2 weeks ago, is he has cultivated the Sementia grass and he is just going to go into hay production. That way, he won't get reports of your animal is dead because some snake bit it. All of that is taken care of. As it stands to, farming in Africa is the only commercial producer of hay, and we export to Liberia, to Nigeria, especially when the animals are going. And so it's a very viable business that we're encouraging all farmers, especially absentee ones, to take care of and also make some money. These sacks you see are the ingredients we use in making our pellet feed. Now, these barrels and everything you are seeing, when you came to our shop, you obviously saw the buckets, right? Good. Now, in Ghana, we have some farmers who are doing it on such a huge commercial scale. When they request for livestock pellet feed, it's not buckets they are looking at, Leon. They are looking at drums, barrels. Yes. And so there are people who prefer this size. Now, what you are seeing, when I tell people the ingredients, people tend to think, oh, then it's easy, I can make it myself. Yes, you can, but there is something called premix that would be lacking in yours. And that premix is based on the minerals and vitamins that are missing in your soil. So what we as a farm did was we contracted a livestock nutrition company in South Africa, and they came here. Great, ran some experiments, and then I found out that most soil in Africa as a whole actually lacks selenium. So now what they do is, if it's not in the soil, no matter how much vegetation your animals eat, they are not going to get it. So now in the premix, they make sure there is enough selenium in there for your animals, and that is taken care of. See this as the vitamin supplements we take as adults or as humans. So we have soybean, we have some corn or maize, we have some wheat bran, some rice bran, some salt to taste. Every single livestock loves it. Grass cutter, pigs, sheep, cattle, you name it. Rabbits, yeah. Even poultry now. Now we have some poultry farmers coming for this. They smash it into powder for the poultry because of the nutritional value it provides. So this is the livestock pellet feed, and as a farmer, let me scoop some. I'll show you something when we get to where the animals are. As a farmer, if you want your animals to see you and start running towards you, feed them. That's all. Where you feed, they always love you. They gravitate towards you. So that's what you are seeing here. But the premix is what is not on the market right now. Even us as a farm, we need to go to South Africa and purchase it. Also based on the research they did for us and told us these are the things you would need in your feed to be able to give a balanced diet to your animals. Are we on the same page?
Yes,
all right. Thank you very much. Please close the door for me. Thank you. Okay, so that's a cute farm. I must also say, I was telling Kwabena earlier that this is not a commercial farm. So everything you are seeing is on less than 4 acres of land, I should be honest with you. And so if we are able to maximize this piece of land this much, imagine what you can do with over 15 acres of land. And My boss, for some reason, loves to repurpose container houses because their construction obviously is very fast. And so you see the offices there. He has his own spot in there when he comes here as well. This, Godfred, I introduced you to, this is the accommodation facility. Now, we have a whole accommodation facility behind. I wouldn't want to take you there. It's a bit messy. It's under construction. But as it stands, we have a Togolese at our farm. Morris, the Liberian, just left. I don't know if you saw his video. He was sent by Royal Farms from Cape Mount to be here for 2 months to receive practical hands-on training. And so he left here. Right now, we have 2 more farm managers who have been sent from Togo and some other parts of Ghana to come here and receive practical hands-on training, which is important because farm management is something farmers easily overlook. They think, it's animals. Anybody at all can take care of them. But there are some people who can't tell a diseased animal from a pregnant animal. And the various life stages, they need different kinds of attention and even feed. And so you have to have some kind of expertise to be able to do that. Else that's your investment going down the drain. Now somebody would ask what this is. This is basically the crate they arrive in when they are imported from South Africa, basically. So at a livestock farm, I have come to realize that nothing is wasted. If we had burnt this crate 2 months ago, just those 2 months ago, we had a spate of deliveries from all of our pregnant animals. And usually we prefer them coming into Ghana pregnant. So the farmers easily get their return on investment in a matter of 2 or 3 months. And yeah, that's one of the value for money you get when you purchase these animals. So we had to even improvise it for a gestation pen at a point. And since you are a guest, you would have to step into this foot bath for me. It's disinfectant solution because we are going to where our precious animals are and we have to protect them.
So put my feet.
Yeah. Put your feet inside. And then I'll start with this first pen. Remember I told you at a livestock farm, nothing is waste, right? Yeah. Everything is useful, including this lawn. It is feed for my precious animals. So this is the gestation pen. Over here, we don't discriminate. We bring gestation animals to this pen when they are just about to deliver or when they deliver. As you can see at the moment, we have the West African guys who are who are in the academic season, I must say. And just take a look at the pen. It's a miniature version of the pen you saw. There is always an exercise yard. The hay you saw, somebody asked, so what happens to the leftover? We don't burn it. We use it as bedding for the animals. I told you it gets cold at night, so imagine a new mother and baby sleeping on the bare cement floor. That wouldn't be helpful at all. Now, the lamp you are seeing is also for the cold. We have, goats usually deliver 2, 3, in rare cases 4 babies at a time. If you are going to let the mother use her own warmth to take care of the babies, you might lose one easily. And so at points you have to support with the heat lamp. At night, you put it on and is able to generate enough heat to take care of the babies for you. You have some yellow gallons. Everything is very naturally improvised here. We cut it and then you put water in. There is something Fred will tell you that if it's water, you, the human being, wouldn't ever think of drinking. Don't you dare give it to his animals. And at our farm, it's a rule. Now, this grass you are seeing is called the SF02. You would have to walk back, but I would kindly walk in so that you see something. And because the dry season is coming, obviously, you are seeing how brown things are gradually turning. But that is why the cementia grass stands out, because we say that it is drought resistant, and there is proof. This particular one is SF02. It's just the way it grows. It's a cover crop. And so I always tell farmers, if you want to maximize your land, when you plant the usual cementia grass you bought, to control weeds, plant this there. Now it's adding some aesthetic touch to your farm. At the same time, it's feed. When the little babies come out, this is softer than this. So they are able to nibble on this. And by the time you introduce them into the pasture, guess what? They are already pros at eating the natural forage. And it controls weed for you. So you are controlling the weed. You are adding aesthetic purpose to your farm. And that is the intentionality behind it. So I know you bought the cementia grass SF01, but you might think of getting this. And the truth is, The fact that we say it's drought resistant doesn't mean you just leave it to chance. The weather pattern has become very erratic now. And so this particular one is like a bit like the local one. You would never, oh, let me introduce you to, don't worry, it's friendly. Hi, how are you? So we are not supposed to play with it because it's a shepherd dog. It's called the Anatolian shepherd dog. Even at our farm, we don't name it. It doesn't have a name. All it does is it protects the flock. At night, in case there is there's lights out, the CCTV cameras are not working, and some human pest want to come here, they have this guy to deal with. You can read more on it. In South Africa, they are in the wilderness. They are able to sniff predators, and they are able to communicate to the flock and protect them. So we are literally practicing everything we see that is working elsewhere for people. And so that is it about this. The grass needs a bit of irrigation. It's not as drought resistant as the popular cementera grass you see, but it has its own nutritional benefits as well. At our farm, we do rotational feeding, rotational grazing. There is a farmer who traveled 7 hours recently to come here. And as soon as he saw what's the demarcation we had done, the guy was like, shoot, I have wasted my land. Then I said, Ahmed, what makes you say that? So apparently, Ahmed has a huge pasture. He didn't think to demarcate it. And the way goats feed, they will just scatter everything. They take a bite here today, they move to the next one, and they won't come back. But if you tell them that, guys, for the next 21 days, this paddock is where you guys are going to feed on, believe you me, they will stop the nonsense and feed efficiently. And so it also has its own benefits because after the next 21 days, remember, biological activities that are beginning to take place there, you have moved your animals from there. So eggs and larvae that are beginning to hatch and all of that to cause infections, the animals are no more there. There are some farmers who don't want unwanted pregnancies. In that case, females eat here, males eat here. There are some who say, I don't want the Kalahari to cross with the boa. In that case, boas eat here, savannas eat there. You get it? This is a lactating pen. I call it the mother and baby pen. The babies are in there. I don't know, the mothers are probably grazing around. Because it's a rotational feeding, these paddocks are like all around the farm. So if you even try to look behind the green structure, you will see some animals grazing there. Yes, so that paddock is their 10 right now. And by the time they are done grazing on it so much and come back here, as you can see, it would have regenerated. And this has a fast regeneration rate, so it's good. One thing I learned recently, which I would love to share, especially you, Leon, I have you in mind because I know you're going to start your own farm. At a point, every lactating pen you see definitely has mamas and kids who have not been weaned. Now here we let them take the breast milk for 3 months. As around almost 2 months, we begin to gradually separate the babies from their mamas because now we need the mamas to also build up their strength for the next reproduction cycle. And we control it also so that they would now begin to focus more on the forage and be able to build themselves up as they are getting ready to be separated from their mamas to the kids' pen. You get it? Because they are not here for decoration. They are here to produce and they have to reproduce, and we have to be able to sell off our babies and make money. Now this pen, okay, let me go in there a bit. These are the pregnant ones, so they are very dear to my heart. Hi babies. So these are obviously the pregnant pen. We have the Kalahari. Oh, that's a beautiful Kalahari mama right there. I like the fare. Now when you see the red neck, it's definitely a boa. And the male pen, you will see the other breeds as well. Here we have the Savannah, the Alpine, we have the Sanin, we have the Kalahari, and we have the boa. And of course, we have the West African dwarfs. Even the Sahelian, we have some. So this is the pregnant ones, and of course, nobody should tell you that they need extra attention. We feed them like we feed the babies because they are carrying 2, 3, and so you need more food for them, even more than you would give to the other guy. So that is it. Some are relaxing in there. And the grazing, somebody would ask, so what time do we let them out to graze? You should know this. You don't let your animals out to graze early morning. Early morning, worms are very active. All biological activities are super busy. And so we feed them first thing with the pellet feed every morning. Then when the sun comes up and we know that, okay, it's getting a bit drier on the ground, then we let them come in. They graze for maximum 2 hours and then they go back. I should also state that when goats travel quite a distance to reach your destination, first thing you should avoid is anything fresh and green. And so when Miata Fatima from Liberia came here to buy her goats, we gave her the same piece of advice. You have to avoid that because it would unsettle their system. And that is why having hay and anything dry feed at your farm is super important. So here what we do is, at that quarantine place I showed you, when we bring them from South Africa, we let them be there, monitor them, feed them. This and the hay is not new to them because they are used to it wherever they are coming from. Then after 2 or maximum 3 days, we introduce them gradually to the grass. They feed on it 30 minutes, then we stop them. 30 minutes, then we stop them. We stop them because we are monitoring their poop. Some react to it. New environment, plenty factors. If the poop is runny, it means you have to check it. You don't want them getting diarrhea. So as a farmer, I would say you just have to know your animals. You have to be there and know them and then make the bond with them as well. Now, I tell people this is one of my most favorite pens in the whole farm because this is where the magic of all the babies will be seen and everything happens. So this is a Savannah breed. Do you want some? This is a Savannah breed. This boa used to be very shy when it came, but thanks to livestock feed, it's no more shy. Wait, this Mr. Jerry Kells is a Sanning goat. It's a dairy goat. Somebody would ask, why do we have a dairy goat at our farm? It's not because we are into cheese. Wait, let me help the boa. You guys are greedy. It's not because we are into cheese production. It's because these meat goats, when they deliver 3, 2, or even 4, they are not able to produce enough milk for their babies. Here we synchronize our breeding system. At that same time, the female version of the dairy goats we have has also delivered. And guess what? Her milk is more than her milk is more than enough for her babies. So we take that milk to also help the other ones. And this guy is here to ensure that we have the pure bloodline of this particular breed. Basically, all of these guys are below 2 years. Let me tell you that. All of these guys are below 2 years. Hey, come, I have some for you. So imagine the weight or the state they would get to when they are even beyond 3 years old. And wait. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Yes, now what I was going to say is that these guys, in South Africa, we call some of them stud goats. When we say a stud goat, it's of premium genetic quality. Now, most farmers in South Africa won't sell to you their stud goats. So what we do is, okay, you know what? Let your stud goat cross the female we are buying, so that at least we get quality offsprings from them. Now, these guys are all here. I told you they are below 2 years. What happens when this guy dies? It means we've lost all the genetic traits it's bearing. So now at our farm, we have been able to utilize technology, and now we have started artificial insemination where we are able to tap the semen of this guy. In fact, all of them. We tap, we inseminate into the females, and then and then they are good to go. So at this point, well, Leon, I told you if you want your animals to be close to you, this is what you do. Wait, no, if you are going to quarrel, I have to leave. I wanted you to eat some. You don't want? Here. Woo! Okay. You've turned your thing now. Okay, yeah, eat some. Don't worry. You are very gentle. I have to leave. If they step on me, I might get my toe crushed. That's not what I want right now. So, those are our males. We use them for all of the magic artificial insemination comes with. Okay, this is a very harmless pen. You can come in. They are not as aggressive. You see, Leon, I told you we feed the pregnant ones like the way we feed the babies. There is always food for them. Always. They need to grow and gain weight. There is always food for them. This guy, 1, 2, 3. They were born and bred here. And Maurice from Liberia told me that Ghana climate is similar to Liberia climate. The only difference probably is you guys get more rain. So when he was wondering if these animals would survive, you just have to look at these guys. all of these Kalahari Reds. This guy is just 2.5 months old. This guy is 3 months. The father is a stud goat in South Africa. Super, super, super premium quality. Super genetic traits. You see the way it's growing, it's crazy. Yes, it can compete with a mature West African dwarf easily. Now, Kwabla, I told you it's an experimental farm. There was a time we mounted one of the boa goats with a local female, a mature local female. Well, when Fred tells the story, it's funnier because he tells you the following morning the female got paralyzed. Whether it happened all night long or is the weight of the guy that's crushed the female, we don't know. But it wasn't a successful attempt. Now, we took a step back and noticed, okay, what else can we do? Here at our farm, and I will tell you what other farmers do and why we don't practice some of what goes on outside. Fred would tell you that he wouldn't cross any of his male kids till they are beyond 14 months old. The reason is, Leon, if you cross them at quite a young stage, it stifles their growth. So we leave them to eat, gain weight for us as much as possible. Then after 14 months old, we know that you are good for what we need you for. Then you take care of that. Now, because of that unsuccessful attempt of crossing the huge ones with our local ones, remember I told you we are improving the genetics. We visited a veterinary surgeon who is a farmer, over 70 years old. And personally, I learned something from him. So he purchased the boa goat from us, and the baby was around this age, almost 6 months. What he did was, he made a 6-month-old baby cross a mature local female because the female could bear the weight. You understand? He was looking at the weight to be able to have what he needed. Now, when you go to his farm, that boa baby hasn't been able to develop to the potential they have to grow because he started making him do adult things, and so the growth has been stifled. So the choice is yours, and I always say I love to be as honest as possible so you know all the practices going on. The choice is yours. Somebody will tell you you have to choose between two evils at a point. If you think you can't wait for them to get to that stage, but you need your offspring, half West African, half exotic, maybe you could try that. And then you rather let the offspring be there and grow, basically. I will take you to the pen, and then you see for yourself a typical pen. It's slightly smaller than the place we went to. So come on in and take a look at it. Sorry, please be careful. So the Anatolian Shepherd dog, for some reason, it has a heart for the babies. And so you find it with the babies all the time. Now, yeah, that dog downstairs.
Okay, so that's his other.
Exactly, that's its house.
So he can go anywhere.
The dog?
The dog can go anywhere.
Yeah, it's always on the farm. Yes, if it's the turn of the babies to graze, he would never leave them. I heard it's just the way that breed is. They were originated from Turkey, and it's just the way they are. They protect flocks. They won't attack human being. So here I told you Fred has even warned us not to name it. It doesn't have to have that rapport with humans. So I brought you into a typical pen for you to see for yourself how it is. Now, if you look down, you would notice that we have 1.5 inch spaces between the boards. I don't know, but can you smell anything here? Is the place smelly? Do we have any stench here? This contributes to the hygienic whatever of the pen. Now, at night, we fill this with hay. That hay, I can't stress on it enough. You always have to have it. And then, as they are eating, they are peeing, they are pooing. Now, when they poo, it falls right through the cracks. Obviously, not all of it will fall, but guess what? It makes maintenance of the pen easier for your farm workers. Remember, it's human beings who are also taking care of this place, and you should try and make their work easier. So that is basically the purpose of the 1/2 inch and inch spaces between the boards. Now, this is the reason why the local animals would go out and eat plastic. This is called the salt lick or the mineral block. It is super important, and personally, I love it because it doesn't have age limits. As you can see, it's hanging in a kid's pen because somebody commented on one of our posts that can baby goats eat it. If obviously it's in a kid's pen, it means baby goats can eat it. You find it in all of our pens, and it's very durable. It contains salt, which would give them iodine. It's called a mineral block for a reason, because it would give them all the minerals they need. The intentionality in this livestock agribusiness, I can't stress on it enough. There are things we do take for granted till you see how simple remedies can solve that whole big issue, like feed. So here we cultivate our own feed. I've shown you we make our own feed. And the hay, which we just cut the sementia grass. We sun dry it, and that's it. No chemicals, no additives. When you cut it and you spread it out, you only have to go on your knees and ask that the rain is withheld for some time. Basically, in a matter of between 8 and 10 days, your hay should be ready. And I love this hay idea because 10 acres recently at a land we visited was able to give us 60 bales. If you do the math, it makes a lot of sense. You are not doing any additives, no chemicals, just sun, and then that's it. Of course, you need the equipment because raking of the grass or turning it is very important. Else, it would rot. Now, we visited a farm recently, and the farmer thought hay technology is easy. He started this hay production, and we went there, and the grass beneath had completely decomposed because he didn't get the turning right. And so we have people who come here to learn solely about hay technology because they need it as the dry season is coming. At this point, before we step out, because we are almost done with our tour, I think I would pause my plenty talking and ask you for questions. Then, if there is anything on your mind you want to share as a team, I would appreciate it also. Come again.
No, I got some harvest bills soon. Soon.
S-U-H-U-M. Yeah, S-U-H-U-M. So, Leon, what have you seen so far? What do you think you're taking with you?
Basically everything.
I've thrown all the ideas at you, and I feel like it's too much.
Everything. I was more curious about space.
Okay.
And then I went crazy on space, and I see this, and I'm like,
Okay. Okay.
I know. I'm gonna be coming here a lot. I know. So every time I have a question, I will always come out here.
That's
I
fine.
would drive here. I would drive when I grab.
I heard when you drive, it's a whole 3-day journey. Oh, it depends. It depends.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's great.
And so I will definitely be coming here because right now I'm at the beginning stage.
Yeah.
Beginning
Yeah.
stage. Once I get here, clean the land, plant the haze first,
Yeah.
and then gradually. Right now I'm cutting it, getting log. Myself doing cutting. I'm not buying log. Myself
Great.
doing
Is there a lot of trees
Yeah.
where you are?
it. Yeah, I got 230 acres.
Okay. So it's basically like
Oh.
a forest.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have it.
And then it's not a problem for you. I love the fact that you mentioned space. So when you see us shouting on our social media platforms that you don't need to have a lot of space to start, this is the reason. If you take out the structures I've shown you, the livestock feed, the office, the accommodation facilities, the operational farm in the real sense of the word is operating on 2.5 acres of land.
That means 1 acre can also do it.
Yes. If you watch our videos, we've gone to farmers who are doing their farms on 1 plot of land, on half plot of land.
Yeah, and it's still making a lot of money.
They are making a lot of money.
And somebody has a bigger one and not even here.
Great.
Yeah.
And recently we embarked on a project where we were seeking out successful livestock farmers in the capital city. So our most recent videos, you would find me at Blekoma somewhere in Accra talking to them.
I watched that one.
One of the questions that was really heavy on my mind for these capital or urban farmers was the fact that if the animals really multiply rapidly, what do? And I got a very easy answer to that. They sell it. They are very aware of the land restraints they have. So they make sure the animals never cross a certain number they can feed. And it all boils down to feeding. So for me, that project has really opened my eye to a lot of things. You find graduates who just started with 2 and then suddenly they have 10. It's all the feed. If a livestock farmer is able to solve the feed problem, they are good to go. A farm in South Africa, the farmer told us that in that province, they don't call themselves livestock farmers. They call themselves grass farmers. It made a lot of sense to me because what is a livestock farmer without his grass? And so, yeah, that's just by the way. But the feed is super important. And so when we discovered that this sementia grass is the perfect grass for the African climate, we decided. Most people don't know that it actually originates from Uganda, by the way. They didn't know. The Ugandans themselves didn't know. And then through research, blah, 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 it ended up in Brazil, where now the seeds are being sourced from all over the world. So yes, so we tap into that. And then we also said we can't keep it to ourselves. We'll bring it down south or down here to West Africa. And then by God's grace, we have farmers coming from Zambia, Zimbabwe, Liberia, you name it, just for the grass.
Ship of grass seeds from the U.S. Now, my problem was that this is not proven. So why are you spending money on?
Great. It's not proving. Yeah, I like that.
It's going to a climate that will never see snow, will not see the kind of crazy weather we have here.
Yes.
So what are you shipping it?
Yes.
And when I told him, in Ghana, they got these seeds. If it grow in Ghana, it will grow in Liberia.
Yes. That is exactly what you've said. That is exact. So you see, when we say over here, what we are doing is working on proving concepts. This is an example. The cementia grass, we did research on it. It went through a whole stage. Because remember, we have regulations all around. We can't just come out and make noise. And it is proven scientifically that cementia grass you are looking at can boast of a protein content of up to 18%. That is the range. It's crazy. We compared it with our local grass, the vegetation you see around, and that can go only as high as 5%. We never saw any species that crossed even 6% at the lab. So we advocate that, hey, farmers, variety of feed is important. But if you know that this particular one is going to provide more nutritional value, why not? Exactly. And so it's proving, obviously it's doing well in the African climate, and that's why it's thriving all over the place. So that is what we are promoting, basically, the job we are doing. And hopefully others are buying into the advocacy of doing it right so they can get their return on investment. I would end this tour on what we call the 5 fundamental pillars every livestock farmer needs to get right in order to have a good return on investment. Number 1 is your genetics. And that's why here we notice that these exotic goods are selling for $1,500 on the international market, and our West African dwarfs are only selling between $150 and $200. Both farmers on the sides of the world are feeding them the same thing, putting in the same efforts, but one is getting value for money, all because of the genetics, which is not exactly something you can control. So we said, okay, we would introduce them into our West African region and make sure that we improve on ours. Now, I'll be honest with you, we have gotten farmers who have come here to fight with us because they said we are diluting the West African breed, and the West African breed, they like the smell of the male's head. I mean, very sentimental issues that come up. They like the smell, traditions, and all of that. But
even when I'm eating it, I want that smell.
Oh, great. Good. That smell. But you see, that smell, recently we found out that it doesn't necessarily come with the genetics of the animal.
Okay, yeah.
It comes because of the environment.
Okay, yeah.
If you keep the same smelly West African dwarf in a very clean environment, believe you me, you're not going to have that strong smell. That strong smell is from the urine and all of that they live in, and you know, we tend to like it because
I know, that's fact.
Because why not? But you see, you should also ask yourself, in the next maybe 2 generations to come, if the next generation is going to be feeding on meat like this, they wouldn't even be bothered about the smell, which we are so bothered about and don't want to change things. So I started with genetics, and the second most important thing is, if you step on me, the second most important thing is nutrition. We have a farmer who bought a Kalahari Red, $1,500 from us. By the way, we set up farms for people. Here in Eastern Region, we've set up over 5 farms all around. Maybe I shouldn't tell you this, but one of the biggest commercial farms coming up in Ghana is just an hour away from us. We set it up for the man. 1,000 capacity is what we are looking at. Huge. His pens move on and on and on and on and on like that. And the good thing is he understands you have to have feed before you introduce your animals. So that man, his whole land is now for hay. We are producing that video and hopefully it will come up soon, so you will get to see what I'm talking about. Now, this farmer came to purchase a very expensive goat, and we have what we call aftercare support. After like 2 months, if you are around, Fred and the team pays you a visit to make sure how things are doing. We go there, and a Kalahari Red he bought at 75 kilograms. I'll beat you. I won't give you some again. As at the time we visited this man after 2 months, the Kalahari Red was weighing 25 kg. From 75 to 25 kg. Whose fault is it? All he was feeding the animal was some poultry kind of feed. I have no idea what it was. So the whole point is, you can have the best of genetics, but if you are starving the animal, as a matter of fact, a starved female would never come on heat. As a matter of fact, a starved or a hungry female would never come on heat for you to even mount
So
it.
the most important is the feed.
Actually,
The type of feed
yes, sir.
you feed them,
Yes, sir.
not any other feed.
You
Because
know.
I was about to ask.
No,
For me, this mineral dusting, this is the first time I've seen.
I see.
But the last time when I came there, everything was up.
Yeah. We were in the middle of that issue, and yeah, we had to leave. Yes.
Absolutely. And you also advise that people should go in for this mineral salt.
Yeah,
and
it's
all
it's a very good investment. It can last for years. They just lick it. They just lick it. It's less like how a pregnant woman has cravings. They do. At a point, their body is telling them, "You want iodine? I want this." This would sort it for them. And the plus side is it boosts their appetite. This particular, it's like taking blood tonic. It boosts the appetite and something like that.
them to eat more.
Yeah. For them to eat more. For the livestock industry, I would always say feed. But then again, genetics is first on our list, because if you give the most premium feed to our West African dwarf, it is not going to grow to 75 kg for you. So number 3 would be the health. Now, health is important. They are live beings. You can't exactly control diseases and certain things. What you can do is to limit the occurrence, minimize it. Thank you. And so here, Ghana has a big problem because Ghana doesn't have medication for goats. Goats has never been a thing in Ghana. Please forgive us. Goats have never
They're
been.
like dogs. Good.
People say they are stubborn, but you see how we are all playing with them here and everything. And so these goats, when we are bringing them from South Africa, we add their medication to it. What Ghana has is cattle. Cattle medication obviously is too strong for goats. Look at the mass size of cattle and goats. It's different. Even though some of the diseases run through because it's livestock. Number 4 would be your farm management. I already touched on. Like Fred would always say that, imagine Leon handling, let's say, $1 million to his cousin who just graduated from high school to take care of.
Facts.
That $1 million is the value of your farm, which you are giving cash to a young person without any experience. What do you think would happen to?
down the drain.
Exactly. And so the first time I heard him paint that vivid picture, I understood the importance of farm management. And that is why now, because of that service which we offer here, I've told you people who are here, absentee farmers in the diaspora can now breathe because they know that they are training their farm workers here to go and take care of
But
their
that's
farm.
That's one time. That's what turned me away, because a friend of mine was going into the pigs and goat and cows.
Okay.
And a disease killed it.
It wiped all of
wiped it
them.
all off.
Yeah. It's even more terrible in poultry. When that disease rears its head, you can lose 1,000 farmers at a go, which is...
All the
These
money
are challenges we also have to be aware of, because it's live industry. Mortality does occur. What you can do is to minimize it. And that's why when we know there are vaccines for these animals, we take the time to get those medications. I was telling Leon, in Ghana, we don't have medication for goats. The only thing we have is PPR. PPR.
We don't even have, we don't have any like that. We don't.
So how do you
We source it from South Africa.
South Africa.
Yes, South Africa is big on this industry, and so they have all of what it takes to take care of them. So when we are bringing them, you see it's licking it. When we are bringing them, we add their medication to it. Thankfully, it's picking up, and so I know there are a couple of agrochemical shops in Ghana now that are also becoming aware of it, and they are starting to get it. So that's number 4. The last one would be the infrastructure. Your infrastructure is very important because, as you already know, I've given you reasons why here our pen is even raised. The last place I'll take you to would be the treatment center and behind, because we are running a model where we want to show university graduates that you can even start on a very humble scale. You don't have to necessarily have the money to start with raised pens. Not everybody can. We do understand that. So we are trying that model there. It's on the floor, but you want to see how the local breeds would adapt to it. And then we can now come onto our social media platform to talk about it. So I'm proud to say that everything, Leon, you see us here on our social media platform, it is all from our operations here. And that is where we built that credibility from our global audience. People see us feeding them and they come to us. What it is you are feeding your guy? I want some. And then the agro shop came into being. We just had to help farmers who were interested. If you eat mine, let's go. So that's it about the infrastructure. Yeah. Okay, I'll take you to the treatment center, okay? Then I would leave you alone with my plenty noise. That's the water thing. Yeah, thank you so much.
You have water everywhere.
Yes, we do. Sink is over there. We have some water in there.
And where do you get your water?
Oh, we've drilled a borehole.
Do you advise
Uh-huh.
people should drill a borehole rather than, Ghana water?
I would advise for dependability sake. Ghana water is not dependable. Oh, great. Yeah, I was telling you about the Dorper sheep. So this Dorper sheep mama just gave us a beautiful baby. That's a big success. Honest to God, it didn't look pregnant to me at all. So we are also monitoring if that is just how they carry their pregnancy.
That is our sheep.
I have a baby. When I'm pregnant, you won't know till around 8 months old. Obviously, the mother is tiny herself, so it will be hidden. So we are observing, we are monitoring in subsequent pregnancies to see if that is just how they carry their pregnancy. Now, you see this cage.
But that's a sheep though, right?
Yeah, that's a sheep. We just introduced the Dorper sheep. It's a very good meat breed.
This one's a foreign sheep.
Yeah, this is a foreign sheep.
Also from South Africa?
Yes. I want you to see the male. Its male looks like the boa goats we saw there. Huge.
I think I saw it outside.
Yeah, they were grazing outside. Huge. In South Africa, as it stands, I'll be honest with you, now it's very difficult to even get Kalahari meat, boa meat, because people have seen their value for breeding and now they are no more consuming them. And the Arabian place, they have seen what Africans are doing and they are trying to control the markets now. So in South Africa, people do ask me, when I went to South Africa, did I eat boa meat? Trust me, the restaurants, they themselves are not getting it. They are big on breeding. And that is the markets we are trying to create here.
So Ghana, do they have Kobe beef?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
You guys have it?
Yeah, we have. So this place is ideally our treatment center, like your hospital, but these cages had to be built 2 months ago because we had just gotten a consignment and I told you they come pregnant. So imagine over 90 livestock giving birth in a space of 1 month. Wow. As a farmer, you would have to improvise. Our gestation pen you've seen is not enough for that number I'm talking about. The crates, we had to use the crates and cover it with black polythene for the night, and these guys too. Now, the last surprise I'll give you. You see this guy? I told you we are improving genetics, right? And now I'll just touch a bit on this so that when you meet Fred, you can ask him all of the other questions. This is a West African dwarf. Before we inseminated the semen of a boa into this woman, we put her on a weight gain program. We monitored her for a while to make sure that whatever foreign baby she was going to carry, she can carry. There were 2. This woman is due this week. Her EDD says 20-something November. Now the whole farm is sitting on edge waiting to see if the first ever artificial insemination to be done in Ghana, to the best of my knowledge, would be successful or not. But before we get the news about this lady, come. This woman, she is our very first successful artificial insemination. That baby you are seeing is half West African dwarf, half boa, guys. And it's, sorry. And it's a very great news which all the institutions concerned about animal in Ghana and in West Africa, okay, you can have some. This is one of our friendliest Kalahari reds. It got foot rot recently, so we had to isolate it, and that's why it's here. Why won't you get foot rot? Your testicles alone are weighing you. You can go somewhere. So now, the truth of the matter is, this mama surprisingly carried 3 babies. It gave birth to 3 babies, but we lost 2. We've not brought out this news yet because we are still monitoring it. The 2 we lost were because they were very underdeveloped. Now, ideally, these exotic guys would give you multiple births all the time. The cases they give you 1, that one is absolutely worth it. And Fred will tell you for breeding purposes, he even prefers that. They give you 1 baby, and that 1 baby weighs between 4.5 kg and 5 freaking kg. If they give you 2, then you are getting around 3.5. But that one, especially when you start your farm and they give you 1, don't be disheartened. That one can easily become a stud goat. And a stud goat can sell as high as $90,000 at an auction in South Africa. One breed went for $1 million recently. We have the article, and we actually visited that farmer in South Africa. They won't sell their stud goats. So maybe you should ask for $1 million. It's a whole auction, and it's a huge thing.
You look at the Saudi before you see the food they be eating with
It's a huge thing. It's why you've not been fed today or what? But the livestock feed, see, also you should bear in mind that it's just a supplement feed. So when farmers hear the price and we explain to them that it's very economical because it's just supplementing their feed, suddenly they become calm. The thing about these guys is if you leave them, they'll eat the whole bucket in a day. Goats eat between 3 to 4% of their body weight. So they are feeding on hay, they are feeding on green forage. This just 100 grams. Do your calculation. And you have, it's a snack, yes. A farmer calls it the animal's biscuit. It's a snack. So right now, the whole farm is looking at how this baby would survive for at least the next 1 month. Then we can come out and confidently tell the entire world that guys who can't afford Kalahari straight away, come. We have improved the genetic of the West African dwarf.
That's one of the ones.
Exactly, yeah. Some people have already given us offers, but it's just one right now, so you people should chill.
That would be very expensive. Yeah.
This baby won't be as expensive as buying the original exotic. Yes. You have to do TikToks on this baby though. Oh, shush it. So now we tried it on 2, and everybody is waiting to see what this woman is carrying. At our farm, we have the technology to run ultrascan, so we can tell if an animal is pregnant. We can tell how many it's carrying, and we have pregnancy test kits here at the farm. This is the clinic of the farm. I told you of the medications. You see all over here. All over
You guys
here.
are running on plants.
No, this is normal electricity. Just that we do have options. So like we have a power station. So when it goes off and we really need it, we are able to power it ourselves for some hours. Thankfully, here it's not as congested as Accra, so the lights out are quite less frequent. We have all of these microscopes because when you tap the semen of the boa, fresh semen can't go beyond 30 minutes. It will die off. And we don't have the technology yet to store frozen semen, which is one of the recent projects we have embarked on. It's freaking expensive because the technology that goes into it is crazy. That is what we just started to embark on. And so for now, when we have the fresh semen, we are able to determine its viability using the microscope and other things which I won't go into to know that, okay, this is quality enough for the animal. We can go. Now I'll take you to the back, then we'll be done. Yeah, they've logged it, no problem.
So basically, this is their hospital.
Yeah, this is the hospital treatment center. That's why I was honest by telling you these guys are not even supposed to be here. They are here because, you know, a farmer has to improvise. You want some? Okay. Speedy recovery, okay? You eat too much. It's okay. It's okay. I'll see you when I see you. Now we weigh our animals on a weekly basis. So this is the scale. It hangs here. It's not in operation, so it's somewhere. So you open, we line them up, and then we do what we have to do. Okay, come, I'll show you here. So Leon, I was telling you about the subsidiary that handles the service provision of farming in Africa. It's Fair Care. All the farmers we have built farms for, all the farm guys we are training, all of the webinars you hear us give out to people, it sits with the subsidiary. It's a capacity building subsidiary. I am under the media Fair Studios, of course. Without us, you guys wouldn't even know what is happening here at the farm. And you see me because there is this guy under the sun with me who is making sure that what is happening here, you guys see it. So it's a whole team, I must be honest with you. Now, this guy is a West African dwarf. Premium quality traits. Fred won't sell this guy to anybody, let me tell you. When we, this guy would give you that smell you're crazy about. This guy. Now, he is in prison because he is too aggressive. You put him with the male guys over there and
Fight with him.
too much. So he's in prison right now. We are trying to let him behave before.
That's why he's sweet.
I know you're going to be here for some time, so in case you want to use the washroom, these red doors, this particular structure would handle that. Now, that is the construction mess, sorry, I was telling you about. We are trying to build as many to be able to accommodate a lot more people. I would end our tour on this structure. So a few months ago, we got a lot of inquiries coming in, especially from university graduates, because they see what we are doing, but they get scared. I feel like yours is too high profile, high end. How do I do something like that? And then we said, okay, we have to devise a way to be able to reach the people at the grassroots. The people who come here for the breeding of the exotic, they are here. How do we attend to those here? So this is a very local thing we are doing. The animals here are the very local West African breeds. And then someone like you who is not sure if I can start on a big scale, when you can, we tell you that, hey, don't waste money and start big or start with the race pens because you can't afford. But remember that if you can afford, we would always show you the right thing to do. I've been honest by telling you this is catered to another category that we want to bring into agriculture. So here you start with your 2 pens, male here, female there, and then goats gestation period is 5 months. In a space of 3 years, they can deliver 3 times for you, and then you can take it from there. So for profitability, I would end by saying it is profitable. You just have to be intentional. This is a very highly educated person's farm, and I want to believe everything you have seen here exhibits that. We are not doing it the domesticated or traditional way. Our forefathers are still even doing it in the community. So
Yes, so guys, this is the end of the tour. My first time being at Sementia farm here in the eastern region. I was at the Bono region, which it was not a good experience, but here it was amazing. So guys, those who want to go into animal farming, especially goat, don't look anywhere. Come to Sementia farms. And I want you to watch this video till the end because it's very educative. Madam Nadia took us round, and I'm telling you guys, if you want to start with even 1 or 2 goats, come here, get advice, educate yourself. Don't let us do it like the way our forefathers did or our grandfathers and other doing it now. Keep watching Kwamina TV, like, subscribe, and share. And guys, leave comments. That is the most important. I told you I'm going to be in farming this year, and this is what I started with January, and I'm ending it December.